Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fascinating: mastering the mind for success and abundance.
Yeah, and our focus is on this specific guide based on Charles F. Haanel's The Master Key System.
Sure.
We've got some really interesting excerpts here.
We do. They look at how our thoughts, our subconscious, all these mental principles, how they're presented as actual forces shaping reality.
It's not just theory in this system, is it? It's positioned as very practical.
Exactly. So, our mission really is to pull out the key insights from this material you've shared. We want to understand how, according to the source, your inner world can influence, well, pretty much everything: wealth, health, fulfillment.
Like unlocking your potential, but specifically through the lens of Haenel's system as presented here.
Right. So, where do we start? What's the bedrock?
Okay, the absolute foundation, the core idea is that thoughts shape reality. It's presented, not lightly, but as a fundamental law of the universe.
Like gravity, but for the mind. It suggests the universe runs on mental laws, not just physical ones.
Precisely. And our thoughts, they aren't just watching things happen. They're active. They create.
That's a big claim.
It is. And the source introduces the master key itself as the way to unlock the subconscious mind. That seems to be where the real power lies, according to this.
So, not just conscious thinking, but tapping into something deeper.
Exactly. The goal stated here is to focus your mental energy, your thoughts, to connect with what it calls universal intelligence.
Universal intelligence sounds grand.
It's described as infinite, always available. And this system is supposed to teach you how to harness it for, well, whatever you want: success, health, happiness.
Which implies then that if this potential is always there, the limits aren't external, they're internal.
That's the point the source makes, yeah.
Yeah.
It comes down to our own awareness, or maybe our lack of mental training, learning how to actually connect.
Okay, so if thought is this powerful force, how does it work? The source says everything we experience comes from thought, consciously or not.
It does. It uses this really vivid metaphor: the mind as a magnet.
A magnet. How so?
It's constantly sending out this energy, right? And it attracts back circumstances, people, opportunities that match the vibration or the focus of your main thoughts.
So mental energy isn't just a figure of speech here. It's presented as actual energy influencing things.
Yes, both inside you, your feelings, your state, and outside your circumstances. And when you focus intensely on something positive.
That energy starts pushing reality in that direction.
That's the idea. Concentration gives your thoughts clarity, power. The source suggests this focus helps the universe align things to match your thought.
So your inner world dominant thoughts, mental images, directly shapes the outer world.
Right. These focused thoughts create mental blueprints. And they're not just passive images, they're projected outward energetically. They guide your actions, sure, but they also supposedly attract matching situations.
That's quite a concept. If our thoughts are that powerful, especially the underlying ones, then the subconscious must be key.
Absolutely central. The source highlights it as maybe the most powerful element. It's like the autopilot, running on your habits, your deep-seated emotions, your beliefs.
And because it's always running, it's constantly shaping behavior and attracting experiences that match whatever programming it currently has.
Which is why the source puts so much emphasis on programming it deliberately.
You mean consciously feeding it positive stuff?
Yeah, affirmations, positive thoughts.
Yeah.
It argues this isn't just feel-good fluff. It's the main way to influence the subconscious to attract what you actually want.
Okay, so things like autosuggestion, repeating affirmations, using visualization, those are tools for reprogramming.
Exactly. Training the subconscious.
Mhm.
And connecting back to that universal intelligence we mentioned.
Ah, right.
The subconscious is framed as the gateway. By tuning it deliberately to positive thoughts and goals, you connect to that universal source of creativity, abundance, success.
Okay, you mentioned visualization. That seems like a big tool in this system. It's not just daydreaming then.
Definitely not idle daydreaming. It's very purposeful. Using mental imagery to create a really clear, detailed picture of the life you want.
Like building it in your mind first.
Yes, and then impressing that image onto the subconscious, like engraving it.
And why does that work, according to the source?
Well, this is the really interesting part. It claims the subconscious doesn't know the difference between something real and something vividly imagined, consistently.
Ah, okay. So the visualization becomes the blueprint.
Exactly. A blueprint the subconscious accepts as real and then works to manifest in your actual life. And a key tip here is about the feeling.
The feeling.
Yeah, not just seeing the picture, but immersing yourself in the feeling of already having achieved it. That emotion apparently really amps up the power.
That makes sense. Emotionally charging it. This whole idea of attracting what you focus on. It sounds a lot like the law of attraction.
It ties in directly. The source touches on it. The basic principle, like attracts like,
And the mechanism described here.
is that your thoughts send out vibrations, energetic frequencies, like a radio signal.
Okay.
And these vibrations attract circumstances that resonate on the same frequency. So focus on wealth, health, success.
Yeah, and you draw those things to you.
That's the premise. And supporting all this is the concept of the universal mind.
Right, you mentioned that earlier. It's presented as more than just philosophy.
Yeah, like a tangible field connecting everything. An infinite source of creativity, knowledge, abundance, all of it.
So how do we connect to that?
The system suggests it's by aligning your individual thoughts, that focused mental energy, with the universal mind. That alignment lets you tap into the infinite resource.
Like tuning into the right frequency.
Exactly like that. Tuning in to attract what you desire.
Okay, so we have these principles, these tools, like visualization.
Mhm.
But knowing isn't doing right. Discipline must come into play.
Hugely. The source stresses willpower and self-mastery, says they're absolutely crucial.
And willpower here means more than just forcing yourself.
Yeah, it's defined as self-discipline, but also deliberate mental control over thoughts, emotions, actions, being the conductor of your own mind, really.
Its job is to keep you focused on the goal, even when things get tough or distracting.
Precisely. Maintaining attention and intention consistently, despite obstacles, despite doubts.
And you can develop this. It's not fixed.
No, the source says it's cultivated through persistence, through focus, especially when it's difficult. Building willpower increases your mental control and thus your ability to manifest things effectively.
Okay. And alongside willpower, there's a huge emphasis on positive thinking. Essential, not just nice to have.
Absolutely essential in this framework. The source is clear. Negative thoughts, doubt, fear. They don't just slow you down.
They actively work against you.
Yeah, they're seen as attracting unwanted stuff, basically canceling out your positive intentions.
And then there's gratitude. That comes up as a powerful tool, too.
A very powerful tool for increasing positive energy flow.
How does gratitude work in this system?
Practicing it sends out vibrations of, well, abundance, contentment, appreciation, and that frequency attracts more things to be grateful for.
So it creates a positive cycle.
Exactly. The advice is practical. Focus on the good. Appreciate small wins every day. Gratitude is positioned as vital for maintaining that positive mental state needed for manifesting.
Now, as we talk about success and manifesting wealth or health, the source brings up harmony and balance. It's not just about the external goals.
Not at all. It really emphasizes that success without health, or, wealth without peace, that's incomplete. Imbalance leads to stress, burnout, dissatisfaction.
So chasing one thing at the expense of others isn't the goal here.
No, it strongly advocates for balance between wealth, health, and personal fulfillment, finding harmony.
So true success, according to this source, is more holistic.
Definitely, it includes physical well-being, mental health, good relationships, harmonizing all parts of life, thriving across the board.
That connects to another principle mentioned, giving and receiving. That seems important too.
Very central. The idea is quite profound, actually. To receive abundance, you have to be willing to give freely.
How does giving help you receive?
It's seen as opening up the flow of energy in the universe, aligning yourself with those universal laws of abundance we talked about.
So giving isn't just losing something, it's part of a cycle.
Exactly. The source says giving returns to you, often in unexpected ways, prosperity, opportunities, success.
And it benefits you internally too.
Yeah. Generosity is said to boost self-worth and, crucially, remove those internal blocks that might be stopping abundance from flowing to you. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to flow.
Okay, this is a lot to take in. Principles, tools, mindset shifts. But understanding isn't enough, right?
Not even close. The source really hammers home that mastery comes from consistent, daily practice.
What kind of practice?
It suggests setting aside time each day, maybe just a few minutes, for stillness, for visualizing goals vividly, repeating affirmations, maybe reflecting on how you're doing.
And doing this consistently is what makes the difference?
Over time, yes. These practices are presented as the way to strengthen the connection between your conscious mind and your subconscious. It reinforces the power of your thoughts and intentions, makes manifestation more, well, automatic.
That makes sense. Practice builds the mental muscles.
Right.
Yeah.
And the source material itself, the guide it's based on, is apparently structured as a 24-week course for that very reason. It builds incrementally with exercises for mental discipline.
So let's wrap up this deep dive into the material based on the master key system. The core message seems pretty clear.
Yeah, it's that mastering your mind, understanding thought power, harnessing the subconscious, using these principles like visualization, willpower, gratitude that's presented as the key. The key to unlocking, well, seemingly infinite potential
Potential that's supposedly available to everyone.
if you learn how to access it.
Mm.
By controlling your thoughts, focusing your goals, aligning with these universal principles, the material suggests you can actively work towards creating the life you desire.
And importantly, it's not just about external stuff like money, is it? It's about creating a balanced, fulfilled life overall.
That holistic view is definitely central. True success includes everything.
It really does put the power and the responsibility squarely in your own court, or rather in your own mind.
It does.
So the question for you listening right now is this. If this source have it right, if the universe really does respond to the energy of your dominant thoughts, what energy are you sending out? And how might consciously focusing that energy change your experience of reality? Something to think about.